Sri Jatapadagamanam Sri Guru Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahana Raghunatham Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahana Lalita Sivisagam Vitamsa Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachari Nirvisesa Sunnavadi Paschat Dusatami Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhaktamin Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So today we'll read Bhagavad Gita 3.34. Suppose you have mobile or something, or you want me to share? Mobile I have, but that app I don't have. That app you don't have? Okay. Okay, I'll read, so, and then I'll explain so that time will so. So the sloka is Indriyasarthe rago deso vyavasthito tayornabasam agachet tauhi asya paripanthino. Indriyasarthe rago deso vyavasthita tayornabasam agachet Taihi asya paripanthino. The word-to-word meaning, Indriyasya, that is of the senses, Indriyasya arthe, in the sense object, Raga, attachment, Deso, also detachment, Vyavasthito, put under regulation, Toyo, of them, Na, never, Basam, control, Agachit, one should come, Toi, those, he, certainly, Asya, his, Paripanthino, that is the stumbling blocks. So translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So there are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. So one should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. So those who are in Krishna consciousness are naturally reluctant to engage in material sense gratification. But those who are not in such consciousness should follow the rules and regulations of the revealed scriptures. Unrestricted sense enjoyment is the cause of material engagement, but one who follows the rules and regulations of the revealed scriptures does not become entangled by the sense object. Sri Prabhupada gives an example. For example, sex enjoyment is a necessity for the conditioned soul, and sex enjoyment is allowed under the license of marriage ties. So according to scriptural injunction, one is forbidden to engage in sex relations with any women other than one's wife. So all other women are to be considered as one's mother. But in spite of such injunctions, a man is still inclined to have sex relationship with other women. So these propensities are to be curbed. Otherwise, there will be stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. So as long as the material body is there, the necessities of the material body are allowed, but under rules and regulation. And yet, we should not rely upon the control of such alliances. One has to follow those rules and regulation unattached to them, because practice of sense gratification under regulation may also lead one to go astray, as much as there is always the chance of an accident even on the royal roads. So although they may be very carefully maintained, but no one can guarantee that there will be no danger even on the. Therefore, in spite of regulated sense enjoyment, there is every chance of falling down. So therefore, any attachment for regulated sense enjoyment must also be avoided by all means. But attachment to Krishna consciousness or acting always in the loving service of Krishna detaches one from all kinds of sensory activities. Therefore, no one should try to be detached from Krishna consciousness at any stage of life. The whole purpose of detachment from all kinds of sense attachment is ultimately to become situation on the platform of Krishna consciousness. So this is a very important part what Prabhupada has given. So very few today. Okay, so we'll, still it's our responsibility to, continue this. So I think Prabhuji are all coming on during this chapter 3, whatever, regular classes happening. Even I've seen earlier also. So that is good. So I'll just give little background. This we are reading at present chapter 3, that is Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga. So in Karma Yoga, so what happened? What is the starting? Because chapter 2 is like a summary of entire Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said to Arjuna many things. There are, entire philosophy was told. Then Arjuna thought that knowing philosophy is a matter of intelligence, right? Then that is better. So I'm now intelligent. I know that. Then why I have to do this fighting? This is the fruitive work. So he's asking Krishna, then why do you want me to engage in this ghastly wire? Because that's a fruitive activity. There is physical labor needed. So now my intelligence is bewildered because you told both aspect, right? Because everything has been told to him. So he's thinking the Jnana is better. So that was a little background, and then Krishna says in chapter 3 that just abstaining from work, you cannot achieve freedom or liberation, or by renunciation you cannot get kind of perfection. And then again 3.9 Krishna said that work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. So any activity you do that is actually service to Vishnu, right? Otherwise what happened? The work causes bondage in this material world. So therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duty for his satisfaction. That is Vishnu's satisfaction, Krishna's satisfaction. So in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. So this is what is the introduction of Karma Yoga. But what normally people do is Karma Kanda. They enjoy, right? They do huge jagna and all, and end of the day, what will happen? They'll just have a nice feast. They'll spend a lot of money. So that is not Karma Yoga, right? And then I'm jumping on to Bhagavad Gita 3.30. So there Krishna says, therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. Now Krishna says that you surrender all activities unto me. So that is what, it's a very, very important sloka. So that is what Krishna says. And then he says that those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from bondage of fruitive action. So this is something little technical. Every time we are using this term, fruitive action. So fruitive action means you work and you get some result, right? In the material world, like we work, we get a salary. I do something immediately, I look for something immediately, right? I want some result. So that result is a measurable, tangible result we look for, right? But in Krishna consciousness, we don't do that. Krishna says, just work of me. Leave it to me, I'll give you the result. So that time and circumstances Krishna doesn't say. But we usually want immediate result, right? I do something, so I want, end of the month I need a salary. If company says, no, you keep working, I will, I will see when we'll give salary. So that may not work, right? But for Krishna's service, yes, you don't get immediate result because Krishna knows what is good for us. But there what happens, there is a bondage. I mean, typically the laborers, they get paid at the seventh day. If they are not get paid, they will do a rampage. The contractors, they'll just really do a rampage. And then what happens, maybe they may get arrested, they go to jail and all that. So this is what is the problem. If we look for immediate result and we want to take our control, even the result, there is a problem. But Krishna says, no, no, just you work for me and leave everything to me. So that is something very important, and that is how you can become free from bondage. So any activity we do in this material world, actually that has a bondage. So that we are not seeing that. Anything we do, any desire you fulfill, immediately suckles come, we get bonded by that, right? Because we don't see that, but Krishna can see that, right? So, so that is how this is the I'm just putting the little background for this sloka today, and then Krishna says that in 3.32 that those who out of envy disregard this teaching and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, be fool and ruin in their endeavors for perfection. So even a very knowledgeable people, I mean, again, the definition of knowledge is different, but even somebody knows, but according to his own nature. So now that a little bit I'll touch base that what actually happened, we don't do anything. Actually, we don't do anything. We feel that we are doing, I am doing, this is what, company, this activity without me, this company cannot run, or home cannot run. But no, this is all material mode of nature. They do the work. We only desire, right? So that is something we'll know. But in Krishna consciousness, what happened? So Prabhupada, every time you will see, we emphasize on Krishna consciousness, because what happened there, you do any activity, that is everything we dovetail to Krishna, that is for Krishna. So that is a beauty. Same activity, I mean, earlier also I came and took another lecture. So there also Prabhuji was there. So we talked about that. See, if the activities are name of Krishna, we keep Krishna in the center, then there is Krishna consciousness, that is working for Krishna. But anything other than that, so that is basically do for us. So that is what we'll emphasize on Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada says that without being fully in Krishna consciousness, one should not give up his occupational duties. No one should suddenly give up his prescribed duty and become so-called yogi. Why? Because I say that karma has a bandhan, right? Every karma, every activity you do, that has a binding. So some yogi and sannyasi, they say, better I will not work, right? Then no bandhan. No, that is not allowed, because you came here, so you have certain duty. You have to perform your duty. Whether you are in office, you are at home with your family, or you are just alone, you have to do your duty, right? So that you cannot avoid. So that is something Krishna put a background, right? So it is better to be situated in one's own position and to try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Thus one may be freed from the clutches of Krishna's Maya. Otherwise you will have problem, right? So today's sloka what says that now Krishna put a nice background that we have to work. Because we came here means we cannot be idle, we cannot simply live, we cannot be yogi, sannyasi, no. We have to work, we have to engagement, we have to have some engagement, right? Now what engagement we do? There are two ways. People can do whimsical, whatever I want I'll do. Some mad people, they go, they create kind of noise on the road, or they can create any nuisance. The yogis, they leave everything, they go to Himalaya, they say we'll just do yoga, right? So what this sloka we are talking about, that the whole, so whatever you try to do, so will be, any action actually what happened, it is done by senses. And how senses do the activity? Because there are some sense objects. I think last class I said that there are basically 5 main senses, 5 karmendriya we call working senses, and there are 5 sense objects. So anything, I see something attractive, I say I want that, right? Or I smell something nicely, I say okay, I want that, right? And then the whole action plan starts Yeah, because that's the desire. So, so that is in this sloka. This says that there are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their object. So this is not something good. I see something beautiful or I see something bad, immediately I respond. So that is not good. There has to be some regulation, right? So that is something important. Okay, so that is this sloka is talking about. Aversion means either it can be attachment or detachment. Like I see something foul smelling, something bad, so I avoid that. That is aversion. So both there is a regulation. I cannot do on my own. I cannot, that is not my choice. So I have to do as per the scripture. Okay, so that is what we say. But one should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling block on the path of self-realization. Now immediately Krishna what says that there has to be a regulation, but this sloka is little tricky. So immediately Krishna says, but we should not be too much under the control of the rules and regulation. So one is that whatever I feel like I will do, that is not allowed. We have to follow certain rules and regulation. But just following rules and regulation is also not good enough. So that is this sloka we will discuss, right? So, so Prabhupada, so that is only Prabhupada, every time he emphasizes on Krishna consciousness. So what we do in Krishna consciousness, we do the normal activities what other people do, right? It is same. Activity is the same. Okay. Sometimes I also put the same dress, I go to office. Doesn't mean I go with this dress to the office. No. So we do same thing. But what happened? The devotees they keep Krishna in the center. That okay, I'm going to office, so Krishna early morning I worship, I pray to Krishna, okay, that I need to go to office. So before that, I do my other activities, chanting, you do puja, and then Krishna, okay, you take blessing of Krishna, then I'm going to office. By your mercy, I should be able to perform the office activity nicely, and whatever in my dealing will be proper. So you help me, and then when you get the reward, your salary or any activity, so we just give it to use for Krishna service. Yeah. So your family is Krishna conscious. The entire money what you use for Krishna, you buy something for Krishna, you donate for temple, you donate for temple conscious. So the activities are centered around Krishna, right? So that is what we are emphasizing, and Krishna also telling that just by regulation we cannot do that. I will talk a little more on that. So that is what is trying to mean here. So that's what. Who is Krishna consciousness? For no problem. We don't follow Vedas, Shastras, and all. We don't go and ask the normal pujaris in the temple, Ganesh temple or other temple that Prabhuji, the Purohit, what is to be done. We don't do that. Okay, because we have our set of rules, and we know what is to be done. So we are not really bound too much on those rules and regulation. So so we act in Krishna consciousness. So really, we are not so much concerned on what are those rules and regulation, right? But here Prabhupada says if somebody is not Krishna consciousness, they must follow the rules and regulation. Because unrestricted sense enjoyment is the cause of material engagement. But one who follows the rules and regulation does not become entangled by the sense object. So this is Prabhupada again give an example, like normally for it happened right at the young age the people somebody follows brahmacharyas very tough and somebody say I cannot because they have the art job in kind of sense enjoyment they want opposite sex so then what they do so there is a Vedas allow that okay you marry and do it because it's a license. That's what our Guru Maharaj also said. So, but what happened? That means okay, you are now that is peaceful, that is allowed by scripture. You do that, but don't do outside of anything. So that is this is talking about the rules and regulation. You have a regulation in life, right? So don't do something differently. Then you have a problem. Then you will be subject to bandhan. You will have a different kind of karmic reaction you have to suffer, right? So this is something we all know, right? Even our Chanakya Niti, that is so nice. I mean, see, if that is how, if we all follow those rules and regulation, then we will not have problem in the society. Society will be peaceful. It will be very nice. So everything has been put in place. But unfortunately, there is more deviation than people following the rules and regulation. That's why we have trouble. Yeah. So Chanakya Niti also says, no, the Matri Brata Parodare Sutushu, every woman except his wife as mother. Yeah. So in ISKCON also you do any devotees, women, the female devotees, we call Mataji. So this is Mataji. So except your own wife, we call others are Mataji, and we call Prabhujis. So nice, right? So you have really no bad feeling or no such feeling, right? Just uttering that word. So this is something we are talking about. This is the regulation part, that everybody should follow the regulation. That is the first part, and we should avoid something and follow something, avoid something. So that is scripture is the best. We cannot make our own rule, right? Nowadays, a lot of faith they make their own rules, and that's a problem. They say, "What is that? Why I have to follow those scripture? I make my own rule," but that is not allowed, right? So same way as I already told, like for us, in ISKCON also we have set of rules. Early morning we get up, we have to do our chanting, we follow four regulative principle, like we avoid intoxication, illicit sex, meat eating and gambling. We don't do that, all the devotees, right? Because that is the pillars of dharma. So you have seen the pujari, there are set of rules, they're taught how to do this arti and all that, right? So this is what. So this is what we also follow rules and regulation, right? Now the second part, so that is first part is clear, right? That there we have to follow rules and regulation. So if you are Krishna consciousness, you have your own rule. If you are not, you have to follow still scripture, or the society has a rule, country has a rule. Everywhere there are rules and regulation. Even on a road there are rules and regulation. Government set up a lot of rules and regulation. So we cannot avoid that. We have to follow. But second part is what Prabhupada says, that one has to follow those rules and regulations unattached to them. Now there are many people you will see in the society, even we interact. They are very nice people. They pay income tax very nicely. They follow all government rules. They never violate anything. They follow rules. So is that okay? Will they go back to Krishna? Will they get the self-realization? Will they be kind of, go back to Krishna's world or go back to spiritual world? They're fine. They're doing everything perfectly. All rules and regulation perfectly. So in this sloka, this is what says, no. And they will be sometimes very stringent. So because what is the purpose, you have to see. I have met some, during book distribution, we meet some people, they'll challenge us. This I do so much charity, I do so much social activity, I do this, that and all. And then when you dig more and more into that, so you'll see that he is doing basically for his own, to develop his own pride or sense gratification. He says yes, proudly he will say, but we don't say we don't have that feeling, that I did this. So that means what? The center moves to he, like me, I. So that is the sense gratification. That's the problem. So, so that is what this particular sloka is telling, that is a problem that will take you away from the correct path. Same way, Prabhupada has given nice example that even a road is maintained very nicely, royal road, but still there is a chance of accident. There can be a violation. There is a danger. So the sense enjoyment, whatever people work for, so that is basically in the material world we'll do. Everything in material association. There you are bound to do some mistake or there will be some violation. Then immediately you are subject to this reaction, bonding. So this is the problem. Or there will be fall down. So that is what That is what you will see. This, Prabhupada has given many examples, like they took sannyas at the early age and then go to Himalaya. They do practice this, that, and they earn a lot of money. And there is just one individual person. He gets collect a lot of donation. He has a lot of money. Then what they do? Then he knows what to do with the money, right? So immediately he'll come, he'll start some hospital, he'll start some temple, and everything center around him, because these Babas, they don't do any specific god. They'll worship some god, but they think that they are the god, they are the Baba. So this is the problem. So that means that is called the fall down, because initially he thought that this is not good. I want to kind of give up everything and I want to sacrifice. But finally he's coming back to that sense enjoyment. When he becomes chairman of the hospital, chairman of the organization, so he will have his own set of kind of servant. He will enjoy. So he goes into enjoyment. So that is the problem. So here, some example I took, like Arjuna. We have seen he doesn't want to fight. He said, "How I can kill my all these relatives, my spiritual master? How I can kill my grandfather?" So then Krishna clearly in second chapter he clarified one by one that that you are not body or soul, and this relation on whatever you are seeing. Even if you kill them, you are not killing the soul. So all this, right? So initially he said that means you are telling for sense enjoyment. You don't want to kill your, because Arjuna killed so many people, right? He killed so many people before battle of Kurukshetra. Then why he cannot kill? So that means he has that attachment that this is my relative, how I can kill them. But other than relative, how we can kill? Because they are all Krishna souls, they are all part and parcel of me. So that's the problem. So that means that was not good. Krishna proved Arjuna. Then other day I took that example of Yudhishthir Maharaj. So Yudhishthir Maharaj say he's like he tells only truth. He never lies. Then when during the battle he was told that you go and tell that Asatthama iti gaja, you tell that to Dronacharya. He said no, how I can tell, this is because Asatthama is there. But this is actually Gaja name of Asatthama. So it's really not telling to lie, but he was cautious, right? So that was not good. So that is not devotional service. Because Krishna is telling, you tell that way. But he immediately kind of disagreed. So this is what. So that means they are subjected to rules, because they are thinking I cannot tell lie. Arjuna is telling I cannot kill. I cannot kill my relatives. I cannot kill my guru, right? So that means they are too much attached to the rules. So this sloka says that is what the deviation is. You have to be unattached to those rules and regulations. It's clear, Prabhuji? So this is what this sloka is basically emphasizing. So we have another similar sloka that if you are either too much attached to the rules or not following rules at all, there are two kinds of people. Uh, so both are problem. Both are problem. So in Nectar of Instruction, Srila Rupa Goswami also mentioned we have a term called Niyamagraha. So that means too much attachment or too much neglect of the rules and regulation. So that is actually that will spoil the devotional service. One of the way that you can destroy your bhakti, right? So we cannot do both. We should not be attached. We have to follow. We cannot neglect, but we should not be too much attached to the rules or not following the rules, right? Okay, now why 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 in this sloka there is the answer, because Krishna gives just doesn't tell, he gives. He says these are the stumbling block for the self-realization. So this is what we are all practicing in our Krishna consciousness, right? Self-realization, or we want to achieve love for Krishna, right? That is our whole purpose of life, right? So if we do those activities, then Krishna says this will be the stumbling blocks. Hmm? So little background, I'll tell this because there is in Srimad Bhagavatam there is a sloka where they talk about dharma. So dharma and what typically we interpret as faith or dharma, there is bit of difference. So dharma is, Srimad Bhagavatam says that all occupational engagements or dharma are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. So one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service of dharma should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. So it's very clearly says that we have to work, we have to engage in activities, but not for material gain, or material gain means usually we use for sense gratification, right? So if you see, like the Ambanis and all, they have the super rich, so much money, and then they keep showing their car, they keep showing their wealth to the people, right? That they want everything customized and all that. So that means because they have the money, they use for sense gratification, right? Hmm? We are not seeing that he's making big, big temples and all, right? So he's not doing that kind of activity. We're not seeing that. Maybe he's doing. I shouldn't say that. But majority cases is sense gratification is the primary, because he said I have so much money, what to do? So they just spend on car, huge, very, very super expensive car. So basic purpose of car is to take, but he want with gold plating or with the gold and all, right, his wife and all that. So that means this is a problem. So actually dharma is for attaining emancipation, not for getting bread. Even Prabhupada quite often says, like, people go to church and they say, give me my bread, daily bread. Krishna, Prabhupada says that anyway you are getting fed, no? The African elephants are getting fed by Krishna. Then why you go ask Krishna that you give me bread? Right? So we have to ask Krishna that how I can serve you, how I can love you, right? So this is something actually dharma. That is the basic, that is the religion, that is the laws of God that we have to understand. Huh? We have to understand these laws, and that will not cause material entanglement. So any other thing now, somebody has in this life because of his past karma, he has so much of money and he's spending. Left and right he's spending, right? There may be sometime, there will be some deviation. He's maybe may not be, like there will be some kind of, somebody may be thinking that, okay, this guy is super rich, but he has cheated me, right? So there will be those entanglement will be there. So the dharma, the typically people go to temple or go to religious places, they ask something, always ask, give me this, give me that, give me that. So they ask for some desire, that's a prosperity. But that is not the religion. So what is true religion? So that is, they say that, okay, God, by your mercy, whatever I have, I'm happy. Now I basically, there has to be a inquiry about the absolute truth, right? That we have to know about Krishna, how we satisfy Krishna, how we engage in Krishna's service. So that desire, when that desire comes, so that's the perfect desire, and that desire should come. That is there. We say that so Krishna consciousness is actually there in our heart, love for Krishna, but it is actually dormant. So we have to just, or it is like full of dust. So you have to clean up and awaken that. Okay. So here Prabhupada, now coming back to this purport, he says, so when you are attached to Krishna consciousness or acting always in the loving service of Krishna, so that detaches one from all kind of sensory activities. So if you are doing that one, then your propensity of sense enjoyment, that goes automatically. So this is something. So the initially sloka started that detachment to the rules and regulation, but so that is difficult. How we can achieve that? Prabhupada says attached to Krishna, then automatically you will be detached to your material gain, sense enjoyment and all. So that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. So that is what we are trying to practice. So The whole purpose of detachment from all kinds of sense attachment is ultimately to become situated on the platform of Krishna consciousness. Yes, Prabhuji? So, so there are some example I'm telling that now little bit we have Prabhupada's lot of lecture that how do you detach from sense enjoyment suddenly, right? Somebody is engrossed so much in material activities, enjoying full life, and you say you detach. It is not possible. It is not possible. And ISKCON, we don't say that. You give up everything and you come. You will become perfect. No. So what we say that you do all these like because the senses are the controlling senses is very difficult, right? And they want some engagement. So if you control the senses, don't do anything, it is not possible. It is not possible. A lot of yogis and all they. That's why there is a fall down, and we know so many stories, so many last time, right? So here we what we say that you develop the desire for acquiring a higher taste. So that is the example we give that engage your senses is engaged in something. So we say that you do something better, you engage your senses for a better purpose, then slowly, see, same thing we cannot do forever, right? We dislike, right? Yeah, the same work, in company, if they keep you same post, same job, so you don't like, right? I want something better. At least salary should increase. I should get a promotion. Why? So that there is a natural propensity that we need something higher, going higher, higher position. So here we say that we need a higher taste for the senses. Then automatically the lower senses will forget, right? So this is something important, and that is possible once we engage our senses for Krishna's service. Hmm? So, Prabhupada says, unless one is transcendentally situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. Now, somebody on the roadside, a shopkeeper or a person, super rich person, if I tell him that you go, come and you engage your senses for Krishna, it will not work out, right? Yeah? So first they have to understand what is Krishna consciousness, what do you mean. We have to tell a little bit, and then only it is possible, right? So it is like when somebody is diseased, the patient. So for patient, there are a lot of food restriction. No oily food, only home cooked food, no restaurant food, and all that doctor says. But even home food also they'll say don't less salt, no oil, no. So the patient will get fed up, right? Are how long like this, right? So for us also this will happen. We are patient, right? Suddenly you put this restriction is a problem. So they say sometime at least you give me something, some sweet, something spicy, one item only. So Krishna consciousness, that is how we do that. Okay, you go come and engage in Krishna service, and then that you get a higher taste. So devotional service, like that is what you see when we do kirtan, when we all dance, right? But we don't go and dance on the road, and we criticize people who dance on the road or in the pub or bar. So that is not good. So they're dancing, but same dancing here you do in front of Krishna with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So you are basically dancing, right? So your senses are engaged. You can have same movement. You can. I mean, I've seen even in our this place also some people because who are addicted to dance like that. When you do Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they will dance same pattern, but still they have a leg movement, and that is fine, right? They're dancing now with Hare Krishna. They cannot stand quiet, so they dance. So then, if they keep doing this dancing regularly, then one day he'll feel, why I go there, waste money? This is free only, no? And we serve them free prasadam also, right? There you have to pay money. After some time, they'll throw you out that your time is over, more money, or because they want to extract some money out of that because that's a business. But in ISKCON, no, you dance as long as you can, right? So this is what we have to understand, right? So you say we are engaging the senses, but engaging for a better purpose, and we are getting a higher taste. Huh? So, that is what, even the tea, coffee, a lot of people, they say, oh, without tea, coffee, I cannot survive. I will not live without tea, coffee. But when you get some, like when you come, take prasadam, so like today, if I just cannot look at tea, or you cannot just smell the onion and garlic, like even you'll say, oh, uh, somehow, we just block our nose, how. So this is what, so you change, so this is something we have to develop higher taste, and that develops the pure love for Krishna. So that is how we have to progress. So, so this is what Prabhupada said, that detachment to rules, because we are not talking about too much of rules and regulation. There are, as I said, we have set of rules and regulation, but we are not bound by that rules and regulation. So typically, see a lot of temples and all, right? You cannot go inside temple, you cannot put flower, because they are only allowed, the Brahmins only allowed, and there are certain category. But you see here, no, ISKCON, we don't put such boundaries and all, no, you're just in front of Lord. Yeah? So you can do Homa, right? So too much restriction. There has to be restriction, but not too much restriction. And some people say, I don't follow all these rules and regulation. Oh, so I'm like I'm on my own. So that is also a problem, and that is ISKCON. We also don't allow that. Somebody cannot do that. But our activities are detached to the rules and regulation, because the whole purpose is different. And how that is achievable? So as I said, you engage your senses for higher taste, higher purpose. Then slowly it will develop. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for coming and listening. So any question? Yes, probably anything you want to ask? Yes, yes, it's very much. Now itself you can do. You are coming, already you are controlled, Prabhuji. Why you are worried? See, by this time, before coming to this place, you should have been doing some activities. So now you stop that activity, you are coming and sitting, hearing Bhagavad Gita class. So already your senses are engaged for a higher purpose. So you are already on the right path. Yes. So, so similarly, you have to see that how your other time or other activities you can dovetail to Krishna, right? So that will be perfect. Then you will also one day put dhoti kurta. You will also come and take the lecture. So we also started same way like you, right? Not that we have dropped from some other planet, right? No, we all came same way we started, and we all can do that. We are not perfect. We are all trying our best. Yes, Prabhuji, makes sense. What they'll do, Prabhuji? A dog, if you allow that to come, can it do homa, or can it do chant mantra? So that is what, because that body is for different purpose, right? Their eating, their everything is different, right? And that is why they don't have karma, na. A dog, a tiger eating flesh, the tiger doesn't have any karmic reaction, but a human being has, right? So, uh, but we try to do. There are we heard no lot of even dogs and Brindavan cows and all also they engage. They will be with devotees. They will do parikrama and all that. So they get, so next life they will have a benefit. See here actually, I mean that's all. They cannot come and do a devotional service, unfortunately. Uh, but uh, but they are there. They uh, cows are, you see, Govardhan Puja and all. We bring cow, we worship cow. So cows are because they are in a mode of goodness. That's Krishna's favorite. Hmm? So we do that. Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, once that karmic reaction finished, yeah, so that, see, actually all are like, correct. So that is what, because our karmic reaction, our desire, because of our wrong desire, our soul, so Krishna created so much, so many bodies, right? So we get encaged. This term is used in this sloka. This soul is here, so that is encaged. So this is also engagement, only human body. But this is a perfect, gateway, best gateway to connect to Krishna. But other gateway that will not allow you to connect to Krishna. Yes. But yeah, they have a limited life, and after that again they get back. But that is what is, very very important, that we should not waste another life, because if we have that wrong desire, we want that, finish. We become dog, we become any other lower animal, lower insect, and then there what happened? They suddenly you cannot. There are stage by stage or some mercy. So that is how slowly again that will come to the human stage. So that's what, that is why we are all preaching, we are all going out, that this is a very rare opportunity to get this human life. So do not waste. Do not waste. Utilize that for Krishna's service, and you can, with this, in this one life, somebody can be perfect and go back to Krishna's world. Then see, no more coming back, no more birth, death, old disease, and suffering. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. Good activities, yes. Uh, Bad activities, you will be punished. You will go to lower plan. Akarma means that is only this karma yoga we are explaining. So akarma means you act for Krishna, right? Any activity what you do it for Krishna, give the result to Krishna. Then no bandhan. So usually all our activities are for me, myself, my family, right? Huh? But when we remove that Maya, I say I'm doing this for Krishna. Like all this activity, what we are doing, is all for Krishna. You are hearing. I'm fortunate. I mean, I have given this opportunity. I'm taking class. But same thing, you imagine some college or some institute ask me that you come and give a lecture on a machine. Like for example, my company, they want some training. We charge them $14,000. He says, oh, like they'll tell me, you were simply telling no sometime. So just little formalize. I said to formalize, you have to pay so much money. So then only I can come and run a class for 1 week, right? So their company needs money, and I will be getting some allowance, also all that stuff. So there you have involvement, lot of, you got it. But the akarma means there is nothing. Krishna says, do it, work for me. Huh? Clear, Prabhuji? So any activity you do in this for Krishna, we are not expecting anything. We want to please Krishna. So then those activities are akarma. See, any activities here you see, the garland, puja and all, nothing. We are not paid, right? Huh? We pay, run this center so that you all come. So that is how, and then we do service. So this is all akarma. This is nice. Krishna says, yes, work for me. So this will have no bondage. And that is Krishna's promise. So even even there can be something, right? While walking also in this hall, some ants you may stamp over and all, right? So that there is a problem, right? But you are doing here, you are doing for Krishna service. So, I mean, deliberately you should not do it, but by chance or something happens, there is something, right? So it's Krishna says, yes, you work for me, then there will be no bondage. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna Ji. Okay. So thank you so much for joining and asking beautiful question. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much.